Well, Albuquerque was founded 300 years ago, and it's a safe bet that some of Old Town's first residents may still be walking the streets.
Paranormal investigators Blake and David have been guiding ghost tours of Old Town Albuquerque for about 8 years, and they join us this morning with a few ghost stories to tell us.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hi.
Good morning.
Hello.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
I love the shirts.
Yeah, me too.
Those are awesome.
It's a perfect state logo to have the ghost in the middle.
Isn't that
Exactly.
It worked out well for us.
It
I
really
love
did.
it. That was perfect. Now, these guys are both certified paranormal investigators. So what does that mean to all of us exactly?
It basically just depends on what kind of investigator you want to be. You have your weekend warriors, you know, high school kids who want to go out to a cemetery, take a bunch of pictures, freak themselves out. Or you've got the ghost hunters who are kind of more along the lines of what I've done, where you're actually trying to prove or disprove scientifically if something actually exists. So it just kind of, you know, you have everything in between. So to be certified can mean a lot of different things.
Interesting.
Now, how does that happen? How do you become a ghost hunter, get certified?
I was just interested. I joined up with a group and just ended up going on about 100 or so investigations over the next 5 or 6 years. So if you've ever, you know, had the idea of just learning on the job, that's exactly what I did.
And what about you?
Well, there are different courses available. For example, some of the ghost hunting groups are very strict as far as who they let into the group.
Okay.
So after you go through a bunch of a training, sometimes they will actually certify you within their organization.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Well, you know,
Okay.
it's really, I mean, we see a lot of TV shows now more about it, and I think people are really gaining a big interest, and of course, especially here. And you brought us some ghost hunting equipment. So can you tell us how some of this works?
Yeah, there's a couple of things here on the table. Primarily, the one that you see standing up there is a tri-field electromagnetic field detector.
Okay.
And you hear ghost hunters on the TV shows, as
that
you
this
mentioned.
one right here?
Yeah, this one right here.
Okay.
Talk all the time about how ghosts either are or emit some type of electromagnetic energy. So basically, we go into the locations, and if that is the case, then that meter right there is going to find it.
Interesting. Okay, now what about these?
That's kind of the same thing, that just picks up a different frequency, but we have just a variety of different equipment. We've got the electromagnetic field detectors, we've got infrared thermometers, infrared cameras, just a huge arsenal of equipment. We don't have any proton packs, no ghost traps, no, you know, real cool stuff like that, but you know, this is our proton pack.
Now, have you seen, what have you seen with this equipment? Has it shown differences and changes whenever you go into a place?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've gone into places where I'll get a spike on the meter and I hear something whisper in my ear. At the same time, somebody else is taking a photo and there's something, you know, hanging out by my head. So you start to put multiple pieces of evidence together, and then you really say, okay, well, I've got 3 pieces of evidence sitting here. There's no way I can really refute this.
Sure.
Plus, there's digital photography too, which has been a real big boom for the ghost hunters because it's immediate gratification. You don't have to run down to the store and get your film developed. It's right there.
Interesting.
It is. Now, you guys offer hands-on ghost hunting tour. What does that involve?
The ghost hunting tour that we do is led by myself and Blake.
Okay.
Basically, the equipment here plus probably 10 other pieces. We give you a little classroom 101 session.
Nice.
Just about, you know, what we think a ghost is, how to conduct a ghost hunt, et cetera, et cetera. And then we turn you loose in Old Town where we do the tours and let you use the equipment and see what you can actually
Really?
find. Yeah, so you basically learn how to ghost hunt, and then you can go home and do it for yourself.
That's really cool. And you do a lot of different ghost tours. What are some of the other ones that you offer?
Well, we offer a ghost tour every night at 8 o'clock. It's about an hour and 45-minute walking tour where we go around and we talk about some of the stories that have been related to us by the people that live and work in Old Town, along with some of the results of the paranormal investigations.
So interesting.
What is the most haunted spot, you think, in Old Town?
Yeah.
The most haunted spot. Well, the place that I enjoy the most is the Manuel Springer House. And
Really?
supposedly there's I guess, shall we say, a woman of the night that hung out at one of the old houses of negotiated affection, and she's seen she's seen in quite a few scantily clad type of ways,
my gosh.
including wearing nothing but a garter belt in her left leg. People have actually described her looking that way as well, and she's
a little frisky one.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's popped out of doors. She's made blood flow down doors. People have described so many different things that are just out of this world.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Plus, during the tour, as we move to our next stop, we usually end up taking all the women and the men just kind of hang out.
Yeah,
that's the ghost that Blake and I really still want to see that we just haven't yet.
You haven't seen that one yet.
Still still waiting for her.
Well, we actually have a couple of the ghosts caught on camera, so we want to take a look at some of these because this is our way of really seeing. What are we looking at? Oh my gosh, wow.
Here is a spot in Old Town behind La Hacienda Restaurant. You can see the guy on the right-hand side with what we would call an orb above him. And what's interesting about that orb is that it looks like it's actually in motion, moving left to right, which you get orbs a lot of times in photographs, and a lot of times you can't explain them as dust particles, airborne pollutants, things like that. But to get one that looks to be in motion like that is actually pretty rare.
Whoa. Oh, whoa. See, the orbs, I have to say, sometimes Elias and I have taken photos and we get that and I say, oh my God, we ghosted out. And I really wonder if I'm a ghost, but I'm not.
What is this right here?
What's that now?
This here was in the Our Lady of Guadalupe Chapel down in Old Town. It's also one of the stops on the tour, and appears to be some kind of streak of light going behind one of our tour guides. And what's interesting about that is that if it's something inside the camera, you wouldn't see Emily, the tour guide there in the photo, actually covering part of the streak of light. So not sure what that is, but a lot of people feel as though it is something paranormal.
That's wild. Okay, I have to ask you guys this. What's the most scared that either of you have been? You have to have been scared at some point.
Well, I've done the tour several times, and I'm not sensitive to that, but people that go on the tour are sensitive to it, which is actually how I got started in it. And probably around the chapel is interesting. We send a guide in to make sure that there's nothing in there, nobody's praying in there, and then we go in. And before you become a guide, if you're running around, I happened to walk in the chapel and there was what looked like somebody in there. So I came out and told the guests that we had to tell the story outside.
Wow.
The most haunted places I've been to is definitely the old New Mexico State Penitentiary, where the riots happened back in 1980. There was 33 people killed in a 36-hour time period, and I was doing an investigation in there, and I walked through one of the portions of the cell block, and I heard as well as felt someone go, like I could feel the breath and hear it in my ear, so much so that I turned around thinking it was another investigator just kind of playing a trick on me, and this entire side of my body went numb, and just a minute or two thereafter there was cell doors slamming and shutting all around the prison. So it's a pretty wicked place.
Wow, that is
glad
crazy.
it didn't scare you away from doing what you do, though.
Well, if I had been by myself in the dark, you know, I confess it probably would have freaked me out.
Freaked out,
yeah, for your honesty. Thank you for
I'm
that.
a big burly guy, but I still get scared, you know.
See,
Hey, we all do.
Every good guy has a soft spot.
I'm sorry.
Well, we talked earlier in the show about Sunday's eclipse, and are you planning a viewing and a ghost tour of Old Town?
Yeah, we have a special event. We've got a fairly high place in Old Town in Don Luis Plaza, and at 6:30, the day of the eclipse, we're going to offer everybody a pair of glasses. We're going to have some snacks and appetizers donated by the Old Town Pizza Company.
Nice.
And then we are going to watch the solar eclipse, and then we're going to take the folks on the ghost tour.
Very, very cool. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for all the valuable information. And
appreciate it.
We know where to go now for sure for all this wonderful knowledge, and to be a little scared but by a big burly guy who's going to protect us.
Right. This is Ghost on. Happy hunting.
And yeah, and if you want to get a tour, make sure you go to our website to get the details, casa.com. Of course, Albuquerque Beer Week starts Thursday. We have the details coming up next on New Mexico Style.